Morning News, weekdays 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific on CNN.
Coming up on Science and Technology Week, Millennium Money. Will the turn of the century cause a run on the banks? Bankers say there's no need for a cash crunch, but they're preparing for one just in case. Also, fruit that stays fresh longer. A new way to protect produce could save money for stores and consumers. And extreme cleanup. It takes demolition and digging to get rid of years of pollution in a seaside town. Those stories and more are just ahead. Welcome, I'm Rick Lockridge, and Kellen is on vacation. The holiday shopping season is in full swing, but not all the action is at the mall. This year, more shoppers than ever will head for their computers to buy gifts. 2 years ago, just 8% of retailers had sites on the internet. Now, more than 25% of them do. But is it risky to put personal information, like credit card numbers, onto the internet? Marsha Walton takes a look.
There is increased confidence in the security of online shopping, and people are filling those virtual shopping carts. This year, more than 40% of U.S. computer users say they'll do at least some of their holiday shopping from internet sites.
Once you start playing with them, you begin to realize that, boy, the way to purchase is so simple through the net experience that if you can get past that security issue, man, it's going to make your life a lot easier.
That security issue is the still widespread belief that putting a credit card number on the internet makes easy pickings for computer-savvy thieves.
Until somebody can actually say, I guarantee you that your card is going to be fine, I'm just not ready for that.
For security reasons, we don't like to, let out our address and credit card numbers.
But the truth is,
there's really very little fraud that takes place.
Internet shopping sites like Buy.com encrypt or scramble credit card information. Executives there say, like any new technology, it will take time for consumers to gain confidence.
I think a lot of people in the initial days with an ATM were afraid to use the ATM. They wanted to go out and talk to a teller. And I think it's really just people becoming comfortable using their credit card online.
Experts say shoppers should stick with brands they know and with companies with established reputations. Take the time to comparison shop and be certain of the total price, shipping costs, return and cancellation policies. Beware of offers from unsolicited email or spam. It's a tool often used by crooks. And don't judge reliability by how nice or flashy a website may seem. Anybody can create one. Some online sellers, like BarnesandNoble.com, are so confident of their security, they'll pick up the tab if there's a problem.
If anything was ever to go wrong, and it never has in 18 months, that we would stand behind it and cover that customer on any transaction.
And while some folks delight in the hustle and bustle of holiday shopping, more and more are grateful for the solitude of whittling away at that gift list at 2 a.m. at home in their pajamas. Marsha Walton, CNN, Atlanta.
Two giants of the computer world are combining forces. America Online announced this week that it's buying Netscape. AOL is already the world's largest internet provider with 14 million subscribers. Under the merger, it will distribute Netscape's popular web browser and run Netscape's web page. Sun Microsystems is also a partner in the deal. Sun will distribute Netscape's business software. Many analysts predict the combined company will be big and strong enough to challenge Microsoft's dominance in the world of computers. We've heard a lot about the year 2000 computer problem and what might happen if computers are confused by a year ending in 00. Banks say their computers should be ready for the millennium, but they're also going to have lots of extra cash on hand in case Americans decide they don't want to rely on plastic to get them through the first weeks of the new century. Paper or plastic? Americans overwhelmingly choose plastic. Credit cards, debit cards, ATM cards. How would we get along without them?
I thought about that a lot. I thought about whether or not to really withdraw all my money that I have in the bank now and wait until they get that bug situation together.
No one knows what's going to happen when the year 2000 computer problem rolls up on us a little over 13 months from now. Will the ATMs work? Will you be able to use your credit cards? Or will bank computers get confused and freeze up when they see the 00 at the end of 2000, the infamous Y2K glitch?
That's kind of boring.
Bankers say consumers have nothing to worry about.
The safest place for your money is in a bank. It's the best place for it. The banks reconcile their accounts every day, and if there are little small glitches that may occur, you know that the bank will fix it for you.
Jim Chesson says banks have spent $8 billion to find and update the old computer code that causes Y2K date recognition problems. But people will always worry when their money is at stake. So the Federal Reserve has ordered an extra $50 billion in new currency, enough for every American family to withdraw an extra $500 if they want it. The Fed says it didn't want to contribute to any Y2K panic, but says it felt it had to order the extra money from the Treasury just in case people wanted to get their hands on it.
We have an obligation to be ready for whatever could possibly occur, and that's what we're trying to do.
Kelly says the Fed may order even more cash next year if there are signs the public is starting to hoard it. But won't ordering all those extra greenbacks only add to the anxiety over Y2K?
Oh, no, I should think that would create a great deal of confidence.
Norman Demura supervises the nation's credit unions with their 70 million plus members. He says media hype over Y2K is more dangerous at this point than the bug itself.
A press report such as you're preparing may cause some consumers to get nervous. But if everybody behaves as they should behave and rationally, there should be no extreme liquidity crunch.
Meaning no run on the banks. Banks and credit unions are taking some comfort in their belief that many people just don't like to carry a lot of cash. They'd rather leave it in the bank or credit union and just take it out in little dribbles.
Usually I get out $10 or $20, but nothing more.
How much money you get out?
$25. I got $20.
If I have too much, I'll spend it on something I don't need.
Especially living in a city, you don't want to carry around too much cash. So.
Still, the Fed concedes it is ordering cash it hopes it won't need for people who don't really want to carry it. And in so doing, officials admit they may help create some of the very anxiety they hope to dispel. The Fed says if all that new cash isn't needed for withdrawals, it'll just be used to replace older, worn-out currency a little sooner than normal. Coming up, produce preservation. A new device keeps vegetables and fruit from ripening too fast. Now, that's good news for consumers. And the Hubble Space Telescope shows us starlight that's been traveling through space for 12 billion years. We'll be right back.
Science and Technology is brought to you by MCI 5-cent Sundays. Pay the least on the day you call the most.
MCI 5-cent Sundays.
I need passion, depth, I need intensity.
MCI 5-cent Sundays. 5 cents a minute every Sunday.
Think big. Think Shakespeare. 5 cents a minute every Sunday.
5 cents a minute every Sunday.
I ask for an actor, they send a comedian.
Call 1-800-Sundays to become an MCI customer.
Again?
Call 1-800...
You probably know where you were when Neil Armstrong first walked on the moon. But where were you when Alexander Fleming invented penicillin? Or when the Brooklyn Dodgers signed Jackie Robinson? There were people in the 20th century who changed the world forever, even when the world wasn't necessarily watching. Announcing the Time 100, 6 primetime specials, 6 provocative issues of Time.
NFL show of the day is on CNN. Get the inside story with James Lofton, Ron Meyer, and Sports Illustrated's Peter King. Live from the day's top matchups, Bob Lorenz hosts NFL Preview, Sunday, 10 a.m. Eastern on CNN.
Tonight on Larry King Weekend, CNN's Wolf Blitzer turns the tables. He'll interview me, plus authors Major Michael Donnelly, Denise Donnelly, David Thorpe, and Edward Timberlake. Tonight, 9 Eastern on CNN.
Sunday on CNN's late edition, the last word in Sunday Talk, the impeachment vote nears. I'm Wolf Blitzer. We'll hear from House Republican Whip Tom DeLay and the Judiciary Committee's Chief Democratic Investigator, Abby Lowe. Sunday, noon Eastern on CNN.
The Hubble Space Telescope is giving scientists a look at very distant galaxies that have never been seen by humans before. NASA released a new image this week called the Hubble Deep Field South. It's a long exposure view of a patch of sky that can only be seen from the southern hemisphere. The picture was shot over 10 days, so it picked up very faint light, including light from stars at the far side of the universe, light that traveled for 12 billion years to reach the Hubble's instruments. NASA says it will take months to figure out what secrets of the universe might be revealed in the new image. A U.S.-Japanese satellite has spent the past year studying tropical rainfall and sent back some surprising data. These images of Hurricane Bonnie, taken in August, show a towering chimney cloud more than 10 miles high inside the hurricane, something scientists didn't expect to find. The red color indicates the most intense rainfall. The Tropical Rainfall Measuring Mission satellite, called TRMM for short, also discovered that raindrops are smaller than scientists thought. Studying tropical rainfall is helping researchers understand global climate patterns like El Niño and La Niña. The space program gives us unequaled views of the far reaches of the universe and the inside of hurricanes. And it also has some very down-to-earth benefits. For instance, a spin-off from space brings rocket science to the supermarket. We tried to show you this report a few weeks ago, but U.S. viewers missed most of it because of breaking news. So let's try it again. Crisp vegetables, fresh fruit, vibrant flowers. They look great in the store, but overnight they can become mushy or wilted. The culprit, ethylene gas.
You've probably brought a tomato home and it looked pretty good the day that you brought it home, but the next day it's got this little spot and you open it up and it's not very good, and that's typically, ethylene damage.
Ethylene is a plant hormone needed for ripening, but too much can be costly to stores and consumers. Up to 10% of produce and 5% of flowers spoil before they're sold. And the gas from one type of fruit or vegetable can affect others around it.
They start to wilt.
A new method of removing this gas and extending shelf life is making its way to stores now. University of Wisconsin chemist Mark Anderson led a team to help NASA perfect crop growing for long-term space travel.
For this flight, there are 20 different experiments that have been operating for the past 3 days.
Through experiments on several space shuttle and Mir missions, he found that titanium dioxide, a common chemical used in paint, converts ethylene to carbon dioxide and water. The process is triggered by ultraviolet light.
The applications of this are so wide, it's rather amazing, almost mind-boggling.
For the earthbound application of the technology, Anderson hooked up with Kess Irrigation Systems of Georgia. The company was selling another ethylene removal process using potassium permanganate.
It works, but it's an absolute mess.
The company was happy to trade their purple powder for glass pellets. After the pellets are coated with titanium dioxide, the coating is baked on. And unless they're damaged, the pellets never have to be replaced. The unit is installed in the center of the storage area. Ethylene-rich air is pulled in by a fan, circulating it over the treated glass pellets. The fan then pushes the cleansed air back out.
By the first of the year, we'll have a unit for floral display cases, sea-land containers and trucks. Right now, we have a unit that will do up to 36,000 cubic feet, which is ideal for storage rooms for floral and produce products.
The technology could bring costs down for both suppliers and consumers and result in more fresh produce on the market all the time.
I couldn't even start to give you the billions of tons of food that can be given or handed to the end user in a usable state rather than something that the grocery stores or the commercial enterprises have to throw out.
This post-harvest cleansing could add 1 to 4 weeks to the shelf life of flowers, fruits, and vegetables. Coming up, a quiet town on the California coast is invaded by heavy equipment. We'll tell you why they had to demolish part of the town in order to save it. We'll be right back.
The 50-yard line, center court, behind home plate, or courtside. Cassiopeia and CNN Airport Network want to give you the ultimate ticket. Enter the Cassiopeia Ultimate Sports Ticket Sweepstakes. Call 1-888-98-CASIO or visit our website. There's also great prizes from Casio, including the Cassiopeia E11, the ultimate palm-sized PC. Grab the ultimate sports tickets from CNN Airport Network and Cassiopeia.
On CNN's Business Unusual, the future of retail can barely see over the counter. It's the fantastic world of Lisa Frank. And football is a dirty business. Find out how one company is cleaning up. Tonight, 8:30 Eastern on CNN.
Sunday on CNN Newsstand. Codename Teacup. A secret United Nations intelligence operation tracking Iraq's hunt for missile parts. We caught them red-handed. As inspections resume in Baghdad, Newsstand reports on Iraq's covert attempts to develop an illegal missile under the UN's nose. A CNN and Time exclusive. Sunday, 10/9 Central on CNN.
The tallest lighthouse in the United States is being prepared for a radical move. The Cape Hatteras Lighthouse will be moved 1,600 feet inland to put it farther away from the ever-eroding coastline. The 200-foot-tall working lighthouse on North Carolina's Outer Banks was closed to visitors last weekend in preparation for the move. When the lighthouse was completed in 1870, it was a quarter mile from the ocean. Now it's only about 100 feet away. The move is scheduled to be complete by June of the year 2000. And an offshore oil rig that's caused its share of controversy is being dismantled. The Brent Spar oil platform has been out of service for several years. Its owner, Shell, originally wanted to get rid of it by sinking it in the North Atlantic, but environmentalists protested, and Shell decided to take it apart and recycle it instead. It was towed to deep water, and this week the top section was lifted off. Over the next 6 months, the rig will be removed section by section. Parts of the scrap will be used to build a new boat terminal in Norway. The town of Avila Beach, California, found out 9 years ago that it was sitting on top of a toxic mess. An underground oil pipeline had been leaking for who knows how long. This week, the cleanup got underway. And as Jim Hill reports, it will take some serious scrubbing to get the town clean.
The sound of the pounding waves has serenaded the people of tiny Avila Beach, California for some 100 years. But early Tuesday morning, a different sound filled the air. About 20% of this quaint town is being demolished to clean up underground pollution from leaking oil pipelines.
This will be a first for Unocal. We've done some smaller excavations before, nothing on the magnitude of this one.
This Central Coast town of fishing boats and tourists had also been host to oil shipments for much of the century. In 1989, Mike Rudd discovered the underground pollution while testing land he bought.
Oh, I found diesel and gasoline and several petroleum products. Some of them were kind of hot stuff, too. I mean, not just ordinary stuff, but there was a lot of stuff down there.
Unocal stopped using the pipeline in 1996, but activists sued and forced the oil company to clean up.
In order for people to get loans on their property and do any type of development, the soil has to be clean. It's law.
Over the years, people here have seen the good and the bad sides of oil, from economic lifeblood to serious polluter and cleanup expert. How the story will eventually end is still apparently anyone's guess. But even the cleanup is controversial, as some people worry about what will replace the small shops and stores.
You get commercialized and get big franchises in here, then it's just going to push the little guy out. And the little guy's been here for a lot of years.
50-year resident Evelyn Phelan says the town can only get better.
I like the people, I like the climate, I like the beach, I like everything about it. I just love it here.
It will take Unocal a year and a half to dig out the tainted soil, bring in clean dirt, and rebuild the streets and sidewalks. Improvements, yes, but some aspects of a tiny coastal town are impossible to improve. Jim Hill, CNN, Avila Beach, California.
Which countries have the best trained computer professionals? You might guess Japan or the U.S. or India. Would you have guessed Romania? We'll have that story when we come back.
MCI 5 cent Sundays.
I need passion, depth, I need intensity.
MCI 5 cent Sundays. 5 cents a minute every Sunday.
Think big. Think Shakespeare. 5 cents a minute every Sunday.
5 cents a minute every Sunday.
I ask for an actor, they send a comedian.
Call 1-800-Sundays to become an MCI customer.
Again?
Call 1-800...
Sunday on Cold War. It is one of the most chilling moments in American history. The Cuban Missile Crisis takes mankind to the brink of nuclear war. Now, new revelations from President Fidel Castro expose new insight on the missiles of October and how the power struggle between Khrushchev and Kennedy brought the Cold War to a boiling point. As the landmark documentary series continues, Sunday, 8 Eastern on CNN.
24-hour non-stop headlines from CNN Headline News. Around the clock and around the world every half hour. With all the day's top stories every 15 minutes. Up-to-the-minute weather forecasts, business and consumer news, market updates, sports scores and highlights from around the leagues. Plus lifestyle and entertainment news. News when you want it. News on demand. 24-hour non-stop headlines from CNN Headline News.
Your schedule is demanding. That's why Headline News gives you news on demand.
Now the network that fits your schedule wants to give you time. You could win a relaxing coastal tour. Look for displays at Best Buy or enter online at cnn.com. Then tune into Headline News in November.
It's news on your schedule, 24 hours a day.
Brought to you by Headline News and Best Buy. Now that's a great idea.
Headline News, a whole day's news every half hour.
Romania isn't a powerful country or a rich one, but it turns out some brilliant computer scientists. Their talents could shake up the future in Romania and in other countries that are looking for computer expertise. For years, Romania struggled under communist rule. And by the time the communist regime was finally toppled in 1989, Romania's economy was in tatters. Today, Romania is still struggling to rebuild its economy. But throughout the years, Romanian universities continued to attract smart, motivated students to their computer science classes. Now, these computer experts are capturing the attention of the world marketplace.
Globally, Romania has a higher rate of software professionals to 1,000 of people than other countries.
There are Romanian companies like Softwin that contract their software development services to American and Western European companies. Another Bucharest-based company serves computer demands by Romanian customers. Vasil Zamfirescu had previously defected from Romania and now divides his time between Canada and Romania. His company Logimax makes customized computers, designs and implements networks, and develops software. But due to a shortage of computer talent in the West and a lack of opportunities in Romania, many well-trained Romanian computer experts are leaving home for better jobs abroad, depleting the fledgling Romanian computer industry of workers.
Romanians that are so good in programming, the school that provides this training, and the economy are not together capable of keeping this asset of the country in here and help Romania create products here and perhaps sell them to the world. What happens is an exodus of brains, exodus of programmers.
That exodus has led a couple of young Romanian computer whizzes to Atlanta, where they were recently hired by Renaissance Worldwide, a global information technology company.
What we found is, for instance, from the Romanians, is they are coming in with very qualified in the talent and have the experience that we're looking for.
Petre Alexandrescu says he's just like a lot of Romanian programmers who are looking for the best opportunities to put their skills to work.
A lot of young people, after they graduate, leaves from Romania and they are hired here in US with great chances.
The Romanian government is encouraging international companies to do business in Romania. When Romanian President Constantinescu visited the United States, he encouraged representatives from Romanian computer companies to meet with their American counterparts.
We want to position ourselves in 2 years from now being one of the 5 software services providers for the United States.
Currently, the Romanian computer industry is heavily taxed. This fall, the Romanian parliament considers legislation for badly needed tax breaks.
Our government needs money, is hungry for money from taxes and from everything he can collect money. But on short term, maybe this is a good idea, but on long term, definitely it isn't.
Romanian entrepreneurs say that until the economy can provide more and better opportunities for its computer programmers, many will continue to be lured to the West. Thanks for joining us. I'm Rick Lockridge, in for Ann Kellen. Next week, mercury pollution can be toxic to the environment and to people. Now scientists are finding a way to grow plants that can clean up mercury. That's coming up on the next Science and Technology Week. We'll see you then.
Closed captioning is brought to you by Bell Atlantic, your guide through the wiles of communications.
Hello, I'm Gene Randall in Washington. We'll check on the weather now with Orlin Sidney in Atlanta. Orlin?
Gene, thanks a lot. It is raining across California. Continues to rain from this morning. Some of the activity seems to have tapered off a little bit, but we still have a low pressure area that's working on shore around Santa Maria and between Santa Maria and Los Angeles. You can see the low pressure circulation right about there. Showers kind of sprinkled around Fresno and continuing southward towards San Diego. There's also an area of rain that has moved away from Las Vegas since early this morning. And as you head northward, you pick up a little bit more of a kind of a rain-snow mix in all this. So look for about 2 inches possible of snow up to the north. Could see 2 inches of rain to the south, and some areas could see locally heavy rainfall. Good news is you're going to see a little bit of a break in the action for the Pacific Northwest before the next storm system starts to head through by late on Sunday. The eastern U.S. is still going to be fairly quiet under high pressure. Temperatures will be warm from the Gulf of Mexico all the way up north into the Great Lakes. Here's a look at some local forecasts. There is more weather later in the half hour. Gene?
Just ahead on CNN Saturday, widely different views of President Clinton's latest denials in the Monica Lewinsky matter. A political divide on the Hill. And what are the links between gun sales and crime? There are some new statistics.
Coming up today on CNN. At 2 p.m., catch up on the latest news, sports, and weather on CNN Saturday. Then at 2:30, Carolyn O'Neill dishes out a recipe for healthy living on the menu. At 3, it's world and national news live from CNN in Washington. And at 3:30, Managing with Jan Hopkins profiles today's most successful business managers. That's all coming up today, Saturday on CNN.